You're listening to the Legion of Reason.
Boy, is that eating up my bandwidth there. Wow, this is really eating up my bandwidth. It's doing strange things to the music. Oh well. I'm your host, the Supreme Reverend Dr. Randy Tyson. I'm joined by the ever feisty Twyla and the internally misogynized Christine. And this is what's the date today? It's October 1st, isn't it? Yeah, and it's going to snow tonight. Did you know that? Oh my gosh, this is terrible. Can anybody hear me? Yuck. This is terrible. Huh. Yeah, this is not going to work, I don't think. This is really, really bad. Maybe we should just try Skype. Oops. I think we should try just Skyping. How's that, guys? Okay, let's try this again. Skype. And we'll try that. Christy, contacts, please. Hello.
Hi. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we're having some serious issues here. We'll start this in a moment again. We were trying to do this via video, etc., and using a pure in, but that just simply not working. I'm going to have to put in a Skype thing here. I'm going to stop the text. There we go. Let's put in a Skype. See, window capture.
Hey,
Hey, there we go.
now?
Oh, good.
Yeah, cool.
That's
Yeah,
there we
my
go.
sound failed in that thing too.
Yeah, I know. It's just it kind of just went. Phew.
Yeah. And if I disappear momentarily, the dog is probably bugging me. The kid is she's a trip, shall we say?
All right. So, well, here we are, I guess. Can't see. Oh, it's funny. I get your two, because we're not doing video. That's right. Okay. Let's start this over again. Obviously, that was going south. And so anybody that was watching on YouTube is hopefully seeing what we're doing now. So we're going to try to start over. Let's go. There we go.
You're listening to the Legion of Reason.
Okay, it's October 1st, and we are the Legion of Reason. This is the Legion of Reason Diversion Podcast, and I am your host, the Supreme Reverend Dr. Randy Tyson, and I'm joined by the ever feisty Twyla and the internally misogynized Christine. Hello. Hopefully this is coming out on. We're having so many problems with this. A new thing. We're trying to Institute phone in. You can also Skype in when we're calling for it. We have a toll-free number. I'll get put on the air later. Of course, we're going to be discussing right away the events in Edmonton last night. And if you haven't heard it by now, you might want to crawl out from under that rock you were under. What else we got? We got Jehovah's Witness teen that was in Quebec that is being the court ordered to perform life-saving blood transfusions. She's with Hodgkin's lymphoma. It's the usual thing. What else we got? Oh yes. Oh gosh, boobquake. I mean, boobquake, move over because chicks in Saudi Arabia are going to be driving. Yeah. Liberals walk out on the Conservatives' pick for the status of women committee chair. What else? We got Saskatchewan bishops are pulling a Bishop Fred, Henry, over the HPV vaccine being offered in Catholic schools. There's tons of stuff here. There's Kensington Clinic wants to better protect women from harassment. That's Kensington, as in just across the river from downtown. And of course, we're going to start off with the terror attack in Edmonton. It's being labeled as a terror attack because they found a ISIS flag in the backseat of the first vehicle that this 30-year-old Somali refugee used to, first he rammed a police car that was doing crowd control. A police officer was doing crowd control. The police officer was thrown several meters, and the assailant got out of his vehicle and stabbed the officer several times. Unfortunately, he's going to be okay. And then proceeded to steal a U-Haul, and they were the Edmonton Police Service rapidly put up checkpoints to try and catch this attacker. And as this U-Haul was being checked, that the Somali refugee stole, he presented ID that linked him back to the original assault on the police officer. Took the U-Haul for used it as a weapon in a police chase and hit four pedestrians over 100th and 106th Avenue in southern Edmonton. And did I say it was 4 people? Yeah, I think I did. And yeah. 2 people have been released from hospital. 2 are still in hospital. 1 was critically wounded with a skull fracture, and hopefully this person will be okay. Thoughts? The
one that was in critical has been upgraded to stable. I've been watching Paula Simon's posts.
Yeah, I've been watching. I haven't really. I saw her earlier ones, her tweets earlier in the day. And
it was a Somali national, she says, that was in the midst of a refugee claim.
Yeah, and he was under investigation for Islamic extremism, making
in 2015.
2015, yeah, they didn't have enough to charge him at that point.
So he's kind of known, and he's
known.
Was trying to do a refugee claim, and
which hopefully would have been turned down. I'm sure it'll be turned down now.
Oh yeah.
Attempted murder, 5 counts of attempted murder. As long as everybody.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's one of these things. It's the lone wolf type that ISIS, wants people to just get out. I mean, it wasn't a very well planned operation. I mean, you can't even call it an operation. He really just went out looking for people to attack. Yeah, so there was no planning involved, other than getting in his car and driving. Well, I suppose.
It's a U-Haul, isn't it?
Yeah. Originally it was a car. It was a white Malibu. That was the first when he hit the police cruiser. That was what he used, and then he ran on foot and stole a U-Haul, and then tried to, as he was being chased by police, tried to hit pedestrians as he went along, and it took a corner at about midnight, a little bit too hard, and put it on its side, and the Edmonton police pulled him out through the broken windshield. Not one shot was fired. Not one shot.
It's amazing.
So
and
kudos.
I'm sorry if I'm going to mute off and on because my phone's just kicked in.
Oh, yeah.
Is that coming here again? Sorry.
Yeah. And the one thing Paula mentioned at the most, she was saying both the EPS and RCMP are stressing that they do not believe he was connected to any terrorist group in the community, and he did not have accomplices. Yeah,
so it wasn't a predictable thing. He wasn't, radicalized as... Well, he was obviously radicalized, but it wasn't something that was progressive that people noticed, I guess.
Well, who reported him for being radicalized?
In 2015? I don't know. I think it was his Facebook posts. If I can get back to her.
So I guess he learned from that.
Somebody's been radicalizing him. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, well, yeah. He might have been... I don't know when he arrived in Canada. Do we know when he arrived in Canada? We don't even know his name. We don't even know his name. But
he was espousing extremist views publicly in 2015.
Yeah.
Okay.
My guess, and this is purely, without any data, but my guess is it was one of those cases where you have a clash of values between, where he grew up and being suddenly in a country that has radically different set of values. And, I was talking about that in the last podcast.
It almost sounds like a justification.
I'm not justifying it at all. I'm just understanding is not justification. Understand. We need to understand this, and I think that anytime you have somebody that is, I described one scenario in our last episode. If you have somebody who is born into a very Orthodox Muslim family, that very the whole 9 yards kind of Islam. And then they go to school and they see a very different set of values. There's a war between those two things, I think. And I think this might have been the same case where you're somebody who grew up in Somalia and just could not take the this culture shock. I mean, it really is a culture shock. And because a lot of terrorism, almost none of it has anything to do with colonialism. That argument doesn't hold any water. Ali Rizvi in his book was mentioning the man that was basically wrote a blueprint for Al Qaeda. He actually went to university in Illinois. He was an Egyptian national, and his hatred for America had absolutely nothing to do with its colonialism. It had to do with an assault on his sense of modesty, especially with regards to women, etc. And these two things just you can't. You can either do one or the other. You can't really justify both at the same time.
Yeah, and it kind of speaks to his mindset when he's trying to run people over on Jasper Avenue, a known area where people go out drinking and such in the middle of the night. So
yeah. Oh, that was
after the game, right?
Yes, it was after the football game. Eskimos and.
So I bet you he was looking for crowds. He didn't find much, though. Goodness.
Well, it would have been barricaded, right? But by the car, so that's good. I mean, we need to learn from these things and make sure that it's not easy. I mean, any idiot can grab a vehicle and mow down people on a sidewalk, right? So you have to be able to prevent that easy route and access to pedestrians. And it sounds like
but these happen all over the place. I mean, it's not like you can barricade every road.
No, you can't. But I think for something where you have, I think that's probably why he went to the football game, right? And that's the thing, the major events, like the Fringe Festival, that's going to be, no, I guess it's over.
Any event in any city, really.
Yes. Yeah. And so you have to make sure that there's no way that a vehicle can gain easy access to large crowds.
Which is practically impossible.
It's very difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, here in a graphic video of a white Chevy Malibu speeds through a barricade set up for traffic control during the Eskimos game, and the car strikes Chernik, sending him flying about 4.5 meters high through the air before he lands on his back on the pavement. Bystanders run to Chernik, but so does the driver of the car, who gets out and begins stabbing the downed officer. I think maybe he was hitting people with the U-Hauls first and then?
No, the U-Haul was the end.
No, the Malibu was the one he had at first,
Yeah.
That officer is amazing. The fact that he survived, and they're crediting his training, but I mean, my goodness, to be thrown 4.5 meters, right? You said meters. That's it's freaking high.
Well, no, it was far. That was
to be able to stave off a stabbing, that's unbelievable.
Yeah. He had his hand on his weapon, and with his other hand, he was fending off the attack. And kudos to
and didn't fire a shot. Unreal.
Nobody, not one shot was fired in the whole thing.
Wow. And we've got the guy.
Okay, so before midnight, they stopped a U-Haul at a check stop at Wayne Gretzky Drive. The suspect fled. So this must have been after he hit some pedestrians, because they set up everything's backwards on here.
No, okay. The Malibu was first, and the attack on the police officer, stabbing. He ran from there, stole a U-Haul, then went.
And then they had set up check stops, and they caught him at a check stop.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And
that was smart thinking, setting up the check stops right away.
That was fast, and obviously this is pre-planned. I mean, you have to be, chance favors the prepared mind, right? It's these things are all thought out in advance. So
we tried to flee the check stop too, right? And that was when the chase went on, and then the vehicle,
and then it turned over,
ended up on that side. And they pulled him out.
People were trying to denounce the chasing, but when that's the guy who already ran people over, then they're justified in chasing him, because they know he's just going to go hit more pedestrians.
Right. Yeah. So they pulled him out of the vehicle and arrested him. So we'll see what final charges are.
Well done.
Yeah, Edmonton Police Service acted very, very quickly and efficiently, and ended with no further loss of life, or no loss of life, actually.
So far, no loss of life.
Yeah. Yeah, not much else to say about it. Except for, good on the Edmonton Police Service. What else? Okay. Are we leaving that one?
Yep, sure.
Yeah, it's sad that it's happening here too, but it's happening everywhere in the world, so.
Yeah, and I guess, I'm very sorry for the people that have been injured and their families, and the effect it's going to have on people, That's really sad.
It's going to feel less safe, especially on nights where there's events.
Yeah.
Frankly, I'm surprised it didn't happen here first, to be honest.
Calgary?
There's been a fair, we've had people radicalized here and arrested for leaving to go to Syria.
Yeah.
So it's in a way it's a surprise, but it can happen anyway.
Well, with all the oil industry and stuff here, it I just would have thought that I wouldn't have expected Edmonton to have been targeted, but it wasn't targeted.
It wasn't targeted.
What's that?
Though. That's the point.
Well, that's true, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just somebody living there.
An individual who was.
Yeah.
Yeah. presumably.
Yeah, I assume so. We don't know that much about him other than he's 30 years old, of Somali refugee, and that's it. That's all we know. Anyway, good. Okay. Let's go on to the Jehovah's Witness story.
Sure.
All right. I'm getting used to doing this now, and it's taking me some time. It's a one-man band. Okay. Anyway, this is from CBC News. Jehovah's Witness, age 14, ordered to receive blood transfusion despite beliefs. So this 14-year-old girl has Hodgkin's lymphoma, and they were trying very hard. The physicians were trying very hard to accommodate the beliefs of the family, but it got to the point where they could no longer treat her cancer without endangering her life by not giving the blood to the patient. So again, it's a standard court decision, and when it comes to minors and Jehovah's Witnesses and their bizarre belief that getting a blood transfusion basically cancels your ticket to heaven, right? It's just crazy. There's one go ahead.
Remember this was in Ontario, I believe, that First Nations girl who was what was she? She was about the same age, and she refused chemo and went off and did some woo-woo pseudoscientific bullshit in the States.
Yeah, that.
So
that place in Florida.
How come? Like, okay, the Supreme Court. I'm just looking. The key decision comes from Manitoba and dates back to 2009. Why did that not set precedents for Ontario to follow as well?
That's what I was wondering, because, well, I guess they can't prove that the treatment she was going to get didn't work. Like, it was like we knew the treatment she was going to get was going to work, but I guess because they were saying, well, she's not getting any treatment, they felt they had to be culturally sensitive and let them try it.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. They
basically, what a load of bullshit.
Basically put First Nations culture above the life of a child.
And then there's all that part of, well, maybe the treatment would have worked. No, it wouldn't have worked, and we know why. But there's that whole fight with alternative health too at the same time. Whereas in this case, it's absolutely not them saying, well, we're taking the kid to get alternative treatment. They're saying we're going to let the kid just die.
Yeah.
Well, the kid's saying it herself. Like,
yeah, the kid was now saying, well, you know how the other gentleman that was on the other night said he wanted to die for sure, get his ticket to heaven, then maybe survive and not go to heaven over some little sin.
Oh, Armin.
Yeah.
Armin.
Yeah. From our last time. Yeah.
Mindset. Yeah. So you can understand her point of view as a kid. Of course, she's now going to be convinced she's not going to heaven.
Yeah. Wow. Religion's fucked up.
Yeah, and culture too, because it wasn't just religion in the case of the little girls. It was also culture. There was two of them that died, not just the one, but two.
Two separate cases.
Yeah. So they both died.
Did they? I mean, I assume they did because, but I never heard of it in the media again. Okay.
Yeah. Well, when they died, it's a little hush.
Yeah.
So.
I mean,
they both are dead.
Like 90% chance of survival if they'd done the treatment, and
zero going to get this stupid herbal crap.
Yeah. Oh, and what is so different about this case than the two that you're referring to with the First Nations children? There's this kind of kowtowing to culture when it's First Nations. It seems to be. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of.
Well, that's what's the line between culture and religion? I mean, religion informs culture. Beliefs inform culture, right? Yeah. The fact that I don't care if you call your bad beliefs religion or culture or whatever the hell, they're still bad beliefs.
Yes, yeah. If you take the religion out of it and it's bad, adding
And the religion did
doesn't
intersect
do
with
anything.
that, the First Nations kids.
Yeah, spirituality, I guess. Yeah.
Well, no, it was Christianity that was,
Was it
they
Christianity?
my daughter's going to be in heaven, blah, blah, blah. I remember thinking,
Oh.
of course they're not upset because they think they're going to see their little girl in heaven. The rest of us, however, that upset me a lot.
Well, it seems it's sacrificing these kids.
Yeah.
For beliefs, and it is a double standard to allow those two kids to die, but not this one. However, this one is getting hospital treatment, whereas those two weren't. In the end,
yeah.
So
The only thing I can think of is that the other cases were in Ontario.
Yeah.
But again, why wouldn't that Manitoba decision from 2009 not have an impact on that case, or not provide the precedents, right?
Well, it does.
Well, it is a provincial law type thing. I don't think it's a federal law; it's provincial, hey?
Well, if it's Supreme Court, though, that makes it everywhere.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know. It boggles my mind.
Yeah. And by the way, we are taking calls. If anybody wants to call, you can chat in the chat box on the YouTube page, or you can Skype us at Legion of Reason, all one word. Just so you know, that's the thing that's at the bottom of the screen staring at you if you're watching YouTube. If you're not, you should be. Where aren't you?
Are you? Are you on YouTube, Randy? Because we have 3 watching, one of which is me.
All right. Woohoo! 3. Okay.
Yeah. No chat.
Hi,
no
you
chat going on.
other 2 people. Well, you can't see me waving. It's kind of dumb. Oh, well. Hey, we got that story out of the way. What about... Oh, okay, yeah. We got to talk about this. We can't leave this one alone. Saudi Arabia lifts ban on women driving. Ooh, yay.
Yeah.
Way to go, King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud. Hey, I think I got that right.
There you go.
Change will be fully implemented by 2018. So
That's short time. That's pretty good.
Well, did you hear about that one imam was saying that they can't drive because women only have quarter of a brain?
Oh, yeah. Women aren't human to those people, so...
I just I hear a lot of women say that about men, actually.
Yeah. Well, they actually mean it. They're not joking.
Yeah, I know. They're weird.
Ridiculous.
Very, very strange.
And what's funny is my daughter, she's taking in her social class, she's taking her course right now the course material right now is about globalization, acculturation, they call it acculturation and cultures. And it's funny, we're going through homework and it seems to be slightly slanted in preserving culture towards that. So when we're coming up, and I couldn't help but joke about this case where like, oh yeah, it's terrible. We're influencing other cultures. I mean, I look at this. Bitches get to drive in Saudi Arabia. My goodness. So I'm kind of mocking the course material because it's such a horrible thing how, everybody, there's all this, what they call acculturation, where there's so much influence of other cultures. And it's a good influence, goodness. And of course, I don't know if everybody thinks it's good that these women get to drive, but I of course do.
Yeah, but I'm willing to bet that they can't drive without a male chaperone.
A man in the car.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting because I guess people are thinking that it's going to hopefully have the trickle down effect where some of these other restrictive things like guardianship laws are going to be revisited, shall we say, right?
Yeah, no.
We'll see. I wouldn't hold my breath.
Well,
and the thing is, maybe that's why they're letting the women drive. Maybe a guy had a heart attack and she couldn't drive him to the hospital and she was with him.
Or just dump him on the side of the road and drive across the border. Get the hell out of there.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
It's all Sharia law in Saudi Arabia, of course, and I guess the state media said that the Council of Senior Religious Scholars, it's the country's highest religious authority that advises the king on religious matters, had approved the permissibility of the decree. Yeah, sure.
As long as it's all approved by the church.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Saudi officials and clerics have provided numerous explanations for the ban in recent years. Some clerics have said that it was inappropriate in Saudi culture to drive. I have no idea why that matters. While others have said that male drivers would not know how to handle driving with women in the cars next to them.
Oh my! Oh
Okay,
my!
let's be real here. Let's be real. There's going to be a bunch of people that have never driven or driven very little. Suddenly, I don't care what gender they are. If that had happened in Calgary, all of a sudden people that had never been permitted to drive before.
Got a
could be
point.
interesting.
Got a point. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I assume you'd have to pass a driving test. I mean, can't be completely inept, right?
I know how shitty I was a driver when I was just past my driver's
I've
test.
been to
yeah.
Cairo. I've been
I
to
drove
Cairo.
through a fence.
No, yeah, that's nothing. You should see Cairo. It's white knuckle as a passenger. It's really bad. They're nuts there.
Yeah, but do they get in accidents, or is that just how they drive?
Surprisingly, no. they're just the insanity seems to be ordered. But like something that a road that was meant
that's
for
what
3
somebody
lanes.
said. There's no stop signs, so people just kind of they honk their horns and all that kind of crap, but they actually get through without really, a few laws, but not that many accidents because people just
Nuts.
There's I guess a unspoken whatever rules of the road that people just follow.
Protocol. It's a protocol.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I had a couple of friends that went to Pakistan. They filmed their ride with the cab driver. It was hilarious.
Oh.
I would have been terrified, but the guy did fine. He got them to their destination, and but they were sitting on the edge of their seats. It was hilarious.
Yeah, a number of conservative clerics have argued that allowing women to drive would corrupt the wider Saudi society and lead to sin. Oh, women! I tell you.
Bloody women.
Yep. So since the 1990s, women's rights activists in the kingdom have been pushing for the right to drive, saying that it represents their largest struggle for equal rights under the law. Oh, sister, that ain't happening soon. With Saudi law enforcing a strict form of Sunni Islam known as Wahhabism, it is not entirely clear yet how the new rules will work in relation to other remaining restrictions. These include laws which require women to be accompanied by male guard. Yeah, of course. This hopefully is the thin edge of the wedge, and cracks that door. I mean, it has to happen because there's so much pressure from outside, right?
Well, transportation is a hugely liberating thing. Like when the bike was first invented, when I took science and technology course, right? When the bicycle was first invented, that was seen as a very liberating thing for women.
Are they allowed to ride bikes in Saudi Arabia? How could you in those outfits?
Well, yeah, that's true.
You get the Nike hijab.
Pardon me?
You get the Nike hijab.
You might show a freaking ankle. Die.
No,
Wow.
I know, you got to wear knee-high socks and shit. Oh well. Liberals walk out after conservatives pick anti-abortion MP for the Status of Women Committee chair.
Ooh, big surprise.
I'm going to step away for 2 minutes. I'll be right back.
Okay, sure. Liberal MPs walked out on a Status of Women Committee meeting Tuesday morning to oppose the conservative pick for chair. Rachel Harder, who is an MP and has stated her beliefs pretty clearly. A number of people on the Facebook page, they remarked that they completely agree with the decision. I said that I'd like
to walk out, you mean?
Yeah, to walk out. I think the timing's wrong and the optics are wrong. I think if I agree that this is a really crappy choice for a chairperson, but the problem is that when you walk out now, you have the they can attack the Conservatives can attack saying, "Oh, you didn't even give her a chance."
Well, the thing is, if you don't draw attention to what they did, many people.
Yeah, I suppose that's part of it, right? But there's an old bridge adage. I used to be a bridge player, and the adage goes thus: that if you want the opponents to make a mistake, you give them the opportunity. This is an opportunity, and you can, as soon as they go straight to the to do something, which is obviously what the religious right would do, then you walk out. I think that's the... Whoops, we lost Twyla. How come we lost Twyla? Let's try it again. Is she there? We're not sure. Going to have to edit this part out. Oh, problems with technology. And, of course, Chris is away for a minute. I'd do a song and dance, but you can't see the dance, and you really don't want to hear me sing. Okay. Can we take a call? Jeez, someone call. Someone call. Someone call. Let's see. Anything in the chat window? Beach. Hey, Beach. There are still a lot of rules for it. Needs guardian. Yeah, that's what I thought. I can't see this happening without being accompanied by somebody. Okay, what's going on here? What's Twyla? What's happened with Twyla?
I'm back. I'm back anyway.
Good, because Twyla's off. Her computer's dying or some such.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I've got a dog in here, so there might be trouble.
Okay. Let's try it again. Anyway, so we did get a message in the chat.
Okay.
And so...
My computer just, thought it would disconnect from the internet.
Cute. Okay.
Again.
Anyway, so we're still on the story with Harder. And I was just explaining my position on this, that the optics would be better if you can wait until she makes a grand mistake and then you walk out.
I was trying to say I like the fact that they brought attention to who she was, and therefore that's why not giving her a chance, because it's so it's 2017. It's so not progressive, and
it's the current year.
But the thing is, that's what conservatives devolve into. So, especially right now.
Yeah, especially. I don't. Where is? Do they say where her riding is? I don't think it's Alberta.
No.
Oh, it is Alberta. Okay, so that makes total sense, right? Because actually, we're almost all of them are, I guess, as Alberta and Saskatchewan.
Oh, Alberta.
The rural Alberta is full of that. I mean, it's Jesus land out there. Yeah, not fun.
Yeah, well, I got a message. I tried to go on a dating site again.
Yeah.
And of course, I mentioned Alberta Party and NDP and stuff, and I'm getting hate messages.
Yeah, great.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I'm. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, no, it's typical. This is why I don't go on dating sites, because I don't want those people messaging me, and I don't want people that are that rabidly anti-NDP talking to me, and then I find out we're so polarized on politics. So I want to be upfront. I'm quite happy with the NDP, maybe not 100% of everything, but of course, and then mention the Alberta Party, because I am very involved with politics. I am the CFO for Alberta Party North and South, and I don't want people coming in the middle of a conversation and like face to face or something, or after getting to know them and having a big fight over it, because that's what happens here. So instead, I'm upfront about it in my profile, and I get hate messages instead. I've had to block 2 people, and I've only been on there a couple days.
Beach in the chat says that this woman is from Alberta.
Yeah. Yeah, she's from Alberta.
Okay.
I don't know where.
Yeah, I missed. I missed a couple of minutes here, but so what did you guys think about them walking out?
I'm okay with it, but
yeah, me too.
I just think that the optics.
Protest.
I just think the optics are a little wrong. I would
Yeah.
I'd wait until get the inevitable gaffe, and then do it. But
right now, I like that it brings a lot of tension to who she is right now, too, because I don't want it looking like it's, oh, that's okay.
I don't want her gaffe to occur after she's been,
Beach says America's province, Alberta. Arkansas North, baby. Arkansas
Alberta,
North.
Texas North.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, speaking to the NDP, I wanted to say this, the NDP has a new leader. He's Sikh.
Federal NDP.
Federal NDP, yes.
And he's against pipelines.
Yeah, that's going to not work very
I'm
much well here.
The pipelines.
Yeah. I'd like to know how he would get oil to the refineries without pipelines.
They don't want oil going to refineries. They want us all to stop using oil 100%, which means no tires or plastic or phones or...
Yeah, not going to happen. Not going to happen.
What are you going to make? They're like, oh, use hemp oil. Do you realize how much hemp you would have to freaking grow?
That was like the whole thing about ethanol. You know how much arable land you'd have to use to even make a dent in demand?
Oh, no. You could go underground or on the ocean or with great expense, and suddenly we can't afford everything. But they seem to think you can wave a magic wand and make things different and
this is why the NDP will never... federally will not get it into power. They just won't, because they're pie in the sky.
They put ideology ahead of reality.
Yeah, they're pie in the sky. I know we got to get off our dependence of oil. That doesn't mean that you can go straight from 100 to 0 in no time flat. And you will always have a need for it. There will always be a need. You need lubricants. Just something as simple as that.
You need tires.
And
what else are you going to make tires out of?
Well, you're supposed to make them out of
Isn't it supposed to be a family-friendly show, Randy?
Family-friendly show?
Blathering on about lubricants.
Have you? Oh, yeah, KY.
Sorry.
KY. Yeah, it's just such a It was the problem with the NDP. A couple of years ago was Mulcair. Mulcair is just so fake. I mean, he don't know. He's more fake than Barbie. I just got that sense. I just got that sense that he's so fake. Leighton was completely different. He was more. He was the polar opposite. He was very, very real. Unfortunately, he ended up his cancer came back, and he just looked terrible at the end. I mean. He looked like death walking, and it's a really sad case. He was somebody that the NDP could have gotten behind, or the regular voter could get behind.
Absolutely.
Mulcair, no, not a chance.
Yeah.
No. And we'll see what happens with the new guy. I can't remember his name. I'm sorry, dude. But yeah, it's an interesting advancement for cultural diversity in this country.
Sure, but if you're going to be anti-pipeline, you're not going to be popular.
No. Especially in Alberta, you're not going to be popular. I mean, pipelines, take it or leave. If you're going to use oil, pipelines are the safest way of getting oil from A to B, bar none. It's far safer.
And if you don't think
trains.
It's not getting shipped right now via rail, you're wrong.
Yeah, and not to mention that the rail lines inspection is very, very poor. They just it's railways are failing all the time. And I mean, just think of what was it, Lac La Mégantic? The disaster that killed 140 people a couple of years ago. Yeah, that's the kind of thing, because rail lines go through populated areas, and pipelines don't necessarily. And it's just. But even so, they're much safer, and they're improving all the time.
Yeah, better technology to make the pipelines
exactly.
and the flow can be controlled better, and monitoring with the new materials, et cetera, et cetera. So.
Oh yeah, Beej says Jagmeet Singh. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So you said this was a big cultural thing for Canada?
Well, have you ever seen somebody with a turban as a leader of a party?
No.
I guess not.
And I hope it brings awareness that Sikhs aren't Islam. They aren't Muslim.
Oh, and yeah. What's interesting is that many Sikhs tend to be on the conservative side of things. I don't know about socially, but when I've seen gatherings of, conservative, like photos or whatever, conservatives, there's often Sikhs in
there's Sikh liberals in ridings in Calgary.
Well, they're the I don't know if he's the national defense minister, but the guy that's badass in a turban. I can't remember. I can't remember names tonight, but he's totally badass. And
I'm bad with names to begin with, so.
Yeah,
but no,
he's awesome.
You'll find that Sikhs aren't all one, and they aren't all. You can't stick them all in one little hole and say that's them.
No, of course not.
No, you can't do that to anybody. You can't even do that to atheists. So.
No.
Yeah.
And Sikhs are very humanist in their like they're all for social programs and such. So of course fiscal responsibility too, but they're very humanist in their approach.
Yeah. That's why I suspect that if they're aligning with the Conservative Party, it's probably for fiscal reasons and not social.
Not social, yeah.
Well, I hope they're not, because the largest deficits we've ever had have been under Conservative governments.
Yeah. Of course, people don't believe that.
No, I know. Try and tell people that. Anyway, let's move on. Saskatchewan bishops expressed concern about HPV vaccine program in Catholic schools. Didn't we do this? Didn't we go through this?
Yeah, now it's for boys though, right?
Yeah, that too. And I wish Bishop Henry was still around. I mean, it's been so quiet in Calgary on the Catholic front. This new bishop is just so boring.
Well, Tara Veer here in Red Deer, she says in the public's how we're trying to move away from the Catholic system and try to save money.
Yeah.
Tara Veer spoke at a Catholic school, and they were talking about how there's this agenda to get rid of Catholic schools, the evil whatever.
I have an agenda.
Maybe she can provide some fodder.
Yeah. No, there is an agenda to get rid of these Catholic.
You're darn right.
In general.
Yeah, but which agenda is it? To save money or evil?
You can be both.
Well, yes, we want to rid evil from our society, and that's why we're trying to get rid of Catholic institutions.
Save money, and we'll save money by
No, we're just trying to get everybody to be atheists. We're infringing on their damn rights to have religious schools.
No comment.
Minister of National Defense is Harjit Sajan, says Beach in our chat window.
Oh, okay. You can be our fact checker. Ha.
Me?
No, Beach. So
that's awesome.
So yeah,
you should call in.
Last Monday, the bishops of Saskatchewan sent a letter to the Catholic School Board. I thought it was a rule that the Catholic Church cannot have direct involvement in the affairs of Catholic schools. So how is this? That's kind of a prerequisite for their tax-free status. I just wonder how this happens because anyway. Gonna read.
Double standards. Come on, they have special privileges.
Let's see if I can read this.
Yeah, and that's essentially engaging in politics, and
it is.
Shouldn't you not be taxed for that, right? Yeah.
Taxed.
Yeah.
Tax. Where?
But it's a Catholic school, so of course they're going to talk about it. It's Catholic.
Here it is. As the Saskatchewan government prepares to follow several other Canadian provinces in providing a publicly funded, school-based offering of the
Finally.
human papillomavirus vaccine, the bishops of Saskatchewan would like to offer some guidance to the Catholic school boards and particularly Catholic parents concerning the advisability of taking advantage of this program and its moral implications. The bishops would like to make clear that this cannot be a compulsory vaccination program. It never is, you dumbasses. For young students. Parents have the final say.
They send forms home for the parents to sign. The thing is, what is immoral is you're going to, advocate for a disease is what you're doing. That's what's immoral.
For cancer, yeah. Parents have the final say in whether or not their children should be vaccinated. That includes you freaking bishops. We recommend that parents examine the issues carefully before making any decisions and that they give serious consideration to the following issues. First, in accord with the moral teaching of the church. And since when has it been moral? But anyway, it is important that young people be encouraged to avoid any kind of promiscuous behavior that, along with other negative effects, can put them in danger of cervical cancer.
Preventing cancer doesn't mean they're going to forget about HIV.
This is ridiculous. Scientific evidence.
Are they so stupid their kids are going to forget about gonorrhea and syphilis and HIV? We can't get this one virus, so we're just going to forget about them all.
You got to listen to this. Scientific evidence supports the ethical stance that responsible sexual behavior, abstinence until marriage, and then a faithful monogamous union are the surest way to good health. Evidence, please. Citations.
Yeah, when does that happen?
No, I'm sure that's
How
true.
often are these so-called marriages so monogamous?
But
are you going to try to tell me these religious guys never cheat on their wives?
But it is a fact that if you abstain and blah blah blah, of course you're going to lessen your risk. So I don't fault them for saying that because that's true.
There are other health factors that sex actually ameliorates. So I don't agree that abstinence is a good thing.
It's also ignorant to think that these people are going to go out and absolutely be 100% monogamous their entire life from the first partner being their only partner ever.
Well, that's obviously true, but for them to say that, it's a fact that if you abstain, you're not going to get, are you talking about things like when you say there's health benefits to sex, you talk about things like reduced risk for prostate cancer and that kind of thing?
No.
Do you get the same benefit from masturbating?
It actually,
yeah,
of course, there are, but it increases.
But I don't think they're allowed to do that either.
No, they're not.
No. Second, let's go to the second one. Second, while the vaccine is said to prevent 70% of the HPV infections that could lead to cervical cancer, it must not lead to a false sense of security, which can contribute to risky behavior. Yeah, you're right. What's your point? So don't get the HPV vaccine? I don't understand. Viruses. That makes no sense. Finally, here's the last one. Although the provincial government is putting significant resources into a public vaccination program, we are all aware that availability does not necessarily mean that everyone must take part. Okay, fine. Some parents may choose immorally, in my estimation, by the way, the vaccination within the circumstances around the family. Oh no, that's moral. Get your kids vaccinated against everything. Come on. This is a serious health decision with strong moral implications. There are no moral... Well, there's one moral implication. If you don't get your kid vaccinated, you're immoral. That's end of story.
Bogey, but Bogey brings up a very good point in the chat window here. Disease is good. It is redemptive suffering.
That's right. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yep.
Can't have Catholic without that redemptive suffering. That sounds like a song. I should write a song about that. And is it? Oh yeah, it's gonna do that to me, isn't it? Yeah. Anybody watching the YouTube feed is gonna see this huge CBC News there, because I can't get the text reduced in size. Let me see here. Can it say? Of course, it's not gonna let me. It let me increase the size. You SOB. Come on. OBS,
Oh, wow.
actually.
That's some seriously big text. Yeah.
Yeah. You see what I'm trying to do here? I'm trying to... Okay. No, that's not it. Oh, look at
in our chat.
How did that happen? Okay, anyway, I see what's doing. It's delaying doing anything. Thank you very much.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Now it's like too small.
In our chat window,
I can't
Bobby
win.
says
I can't win.
We should make vaccination mandatory. I agree, but there are situations like, for example, if you're a child and you're receiving chemo and that kind of thing, you can't get vaccinations. But I don't think that you should get away just because of your silly religious beliefs, or, it's a social obligation. I really don't see vaccinating as an individual choice so much as a social obligation to our fellow citizens.
Considering that we understand the risk versus benefit for them, but so many people are skewed on that view because of misinformation.
Yeah. Well, herd immunization is really important. And, for those people that can't. So in a sense, I agree it should be mandatory, or it does. Did they not have to, like, there's certain places where we have to show before you can register for school or whatever that you've had your proper vaccinations or have a freaking good excuse. I agree with that.
But the anti-vaxxers online teach each other how to fake those records.
Oh, really? Huh. That's immoral too.
Yeah, well, they're too afraid of autisms.
Yeah.
Which I find immoral. They're so afraid of autism. They're going to listen to misinformation and ensure their child dies of a preventable disease instead. You can't... Autism, if you don't have it, if you're not born with it, with the genetics and such, you're not going to get it. But people don't understand that either, because there's so much, again, misinformation out there that they believe that this is something, it's preventable by not vaccinating. And it's so backwards. Vaccinations prevent disease. They don't cause.
Here's another one in the chat window from Beach. If you can't trust a priest to be alone with your child, why are priests trusting that parishioners are going to be faithful? There you go.
Yeah. Well, they aren't. People are people, right?
Yeah.
The most unchristian people are Christians in general. But anyway, okay. I didn't give you guys the link to this one, or did I? The Kensington Clinic?
Wasn't it on the...
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I did. Okay.
Legion of Reason?
Yeah. Kensington Clinic wants province to better protect women from harassment. Should be by anti-abortion protesters, not of. Yeah. There shouldn't be any harassment. There should be no contact. Okay.
And there are rules in place. They have to be across the street and that kind of. I haven't seen them like actually go up to the clinic and harass. So I didn't know this. I see them protesting all the time, and they have to be in like groups of 5 or less to do that. Like, I don't have a problem if you want to protest. Like, everybody just drives by them and flips them the bird anyway. And sometimes you get counter protesters that say we support your choice, or hey, legalize marijuana or something like that, right? Which I think is great. Yeah, I didn't know that they were being that much of dickheads.
Yeah,
to actually confront
it wouldn't surprise
women.
me.
Like,
some of the groups around here are very virulent. They're nasty. We get these little postcards in the mail of a dead fetus, picture of a dead fetus. These people that are protesting, they don't know why women are going in there. They don't know their stories. Like, how dare they? It's sickening. Yep. Well, this clinic executive director, Celia Possignac, says she's been dealing with anti-abortion protesters since the day the clinic opened in 1991. And she says the first day I came to work, there was probably 100 people already out front. Like,
wow.
Ridiculous.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have expected that in the early 90s either.
Yeah, so just this week, more than a dozen anti-abortion protesters gathered outside. The Calgary chapter of the anti-abortion group 40 Days for Life encourages, is that like 40 days and 40 nights of, like 40 is a big number in Christianity. I don't know. Anyway, encourages protesters to sign up for daily shifts outside the clinic. Huh.
Yeah. Wow.
I'd sign up and then I'd screw them over.
No, we should just go and do counter protests. Just stand next to them with another. I've suggested before, and people, not on my suggestion, but people have done it, right?
Sure.
There's often counter protesters there. Let's all sign up for our shift and support the women who have had to make these difficult choices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't need these protesters. And protesters don't give a damn what happens after birth. They all they care about is you have a child. That's just crazy.
Okay.
If you're going to pay for the child's welfare, then you can have a say. If you're not going to pay, you've got nothing to say.
Well, not all of them are like that. Like these what are they called? The pregnancy. I don't know. The ones that don't
Pregnancy
offer
care center?
abortion. Yeah.
They lie to people about abortion stats and say how they're going to get cancer and everything else.
Breast cancer, and baloney.
But apparently they actually do help with diapers and stuff. Okay, I got to get this dog right here. Sorry.
So what Chris was saying before, this is the article continues. A court injunction obtained by the clinic in 2003 requires demonstrators to stay across the street from the clinic and not gather in groups of 5 or more, but apparently they breach that order regularly, so I'm not surprised. And the director says she frequently calls police, but there are no consequences. Police just send some people away, and sometimes as soon as people leave, they violate the order again. They think they can flout the law. Throw some of them in prison for a little bit. Give them a little jail time.
Yeah, but it sounds like they're walking that really fine line. Once the cops show up, then they start behaving. So what are you going to do, right?
Well, they can be charged with breach of court order. So that basically it's what's the term? There's a term for this when you violate a court order. No.
Yeah.
And what's the term? Hey, Beach, help me out. It's when you piss a judge off. When you piss a judge off and contempt of court. That is actually that is contempt of court. They can
contempt.
You can be sent to jail for any amount of time the judge feels is appropriate. You can spend the rest of your life in jail. There's no time limit on it. If the judge is still pissed off.
Made of this.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah. Start put some teeth into these court orders. We don't need that.
Yeah, and I do have a problem with them protesting across the street, but I think that's freedom of expression, and too bad for me if I don't like it. I can drive by and flip them the bird, or stand next to them and counter protest. But you can't be going onto the property and confronting women.
Yeah.
Do we have any like in some cities in the States? There's people who will essentially escort women in and out of the clinics as a safeguard and that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
I don't know
if we do that.
Yeah, because I think most people have family members or friends or whatever that'll, come and help support and that kind of thing, right? But if we don't have that service.
The health minister for Alberta, Sarah Hoffman, said, and if there's any government that's going to do it, it's going to be this one. And I hope she does it soon, because I don't think they're going to be in power very much longer. That they're considering legislation that's similar to that in British Columbia, Quebec, and Newfoundland, where they have safe zones around abortion clinics. So we'll see. Well, I hope that happens. And
well, across the street should, like I said, be sufficient.
Yeah.
If they, I would think that would constitute a safe barrier or whatever, right? Because that clinic is pretty much closed from every other angle except from across the street.
Yeah.
Like they have, a gated, locked driveway and that kind of thing, eh?
Yep. Yeah, and 24-hour surveillance.
Oh, do they? I don't know about that.
I'm sure they do. Come on, you got to be
I
kidding
would
me.
expect there'd be cameras. Yeah.
Cameras everywhere. So,
Mhm.
what do we got? Is that? Well, there's one story that we have left, and it's interesting. Is something from the Vancouver Sun, and here it is. It's written by.
Before we continue, can I just say that we're going to have a special guest on that is an atheist pro-lifer. So it should be interesting to talk to her, because I suspect she's a lot more nuanced than this bullshit, right?
I'm curious about where she thinks life begins.
Yeah, me too. She's super sweet. Has a great sense of humor, good strategies for, if you want to be abstinent. She, recommends masturbation, and she hands out condoms, and she's very cool, but I don't get where she's coming from quite. And I just think it'll be really fun to talk to
clarify some points. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I suspect she's a lot more nuanced than, obviously. Yeah.
We'll see.
We're expecting a lot.
Yeah.
Building up the suspense. It'd be like Wonder Woman, and it was such a letdown.
No, she tables at a lot of conferences. Like, I'm sure a lot of people know her.
Yeah. Marvel's had 2 good superhero movies. Okay, I know Wonder Woman's DC, but there have only been 2 good superhero movies. One was Doctor Strange with Cumberbatch, and Iron Man. The rest have just sucked.
Where the hell did that come from?
I don't know. Anyway, that's just my little editorial. And I've seen all of them. Why do I keep going back? I don't know. Why do I go back to the well? Anyway, men do well in science and tech, but lag elsewhere. So interesting. The studies, recent studies are showing that the encouragement of women to go into STEM fields, I would say engineering is probably not part of that. It hasn't changed a bit in decades. It's still 20%. I honestly, I think it's just the exact same reason why men don't go into the soft fields, which is what this is complaining about. We just don't want them. It's really that simple. Well, I think it's really simple.
I remember, like, in the 90s, there was I guess, encouragement for men to go into non-traditional fields. So this is not new advice. I told you guys when I was doing my master's degree that I talked to a woman who actually had a male lactation consultant. So a male nurse who was a freaking lactation consultant, she thought he was great.
Aww.
Yeah. So, the encouragement for men to go into fields other than those traditionally. This is not new. This is not new. Pardon?
There's an ad that's coming up, and I got to kill it because it's like, it's still doing it. Stop that. Jeez. Okay. You can't kill it. It's just. I hate sites that do that. Screw you, Vancouver
Chrome?
Sun. I'm on Chrome. Yes.
Okay, so if you look online, there's a way to mute your page. It's a little add-on. So just so you know in the future. Yeah, sure. It gives you a little speaker, and you can just mute it right on the top. I'm surprised
Ghosterly didn't kill it. Oh, well. Anyway, let's see. Young males aren't doing it all well in other fields. Yeah, well, that's because we just don't generally go in them. So new Canadian research says high school girls are on average doing as well as boys in STEM. Actually, probably more degrees go to women than men now. Plus, they're outperforming boys in almost every other sphere. So this is two researchers, David Card and Abigail Payne, studied girls and boys in grade 12, and they show that they end up roughly equally prepared to go into science. Being prepared to go into science and technology and engineering, math, is one thing. It's quite another to want to, right? They're not the same thing.
Yeah.
And women do not go into engineering. That's despite Herculean efforts by universities and other government programs. They just don't want to do it. Our generation, I think women were told by their parents that it's sciencey. You don't want to do that. Not so much anymore. I mean, there's encouragement in the schools, and I think parents of our generation, sorts of people from our generation that are parents now are probably pretty pissed off at their parents, especially if they're women, being told. I know my wife Rhonda is that she shouldn't go into science because that's not for women.
Well, and my own dad would support my brothers in their educations, but he wouldn't support me.
Yeah, this is not uncommon.
Like, he just dismissed me, and I was the scholar. Like, neither one of my brothers graduated from any college. I'm the only one. I had to do it all by myself.
So they say that the real reason more males complete STEM degrees is that, quote, the only men who are good enough to get into university are men who are good at STEM. Women are good enough to go into non-STEM and STEM fields. Interesting. If we accept the results, the gender industry gap is focused on the wrong thing. The real gender gap is that men are having trouble competing everywhere except in STEM. Yeah, I can buy that. But if we're talking about gender studies, or I think I'm glad that there's a gap. I don't think anybody should be going into gender studies anymore. It's crazy now. It's insanity. Yeah, with all the critical theories that come out, which are oddly not critical of themselves.
Well, I mean, so we're taking into account things like retail and, like
retail.
I'm sure men. Well, you
That's
get
not
up
a
in the
degree.
higher echelons of retail in a big, chain store or something like that, right?
Well, yeah, fine, but that's not university.
No, but like, are men able to enter these kinds of jobs? Yes.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, I don't know. It seems somewhat biased toward the other side, although I agree with it.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Yeah.
But to suggest that there hasn't been encouragement for men to take up non-traditional roles, this is something new. That's just nonsense.
Is that what they're saying? Because I don't think that's what they're saying.
Well, they're encouraging, let's try to encourage men to go into these non-traditional roles. We've already been doing that.
Yeah, I suppose.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't think it's anywhere near as much as for women to go into.
No, that's true.
And
well, it's tough to try to convince men to go for lower paying jobs.
Yeah, that's right.
It almost seems unethical to encourage people to get lower paying jobs.
Okay. Yeah, what do I want to say here? There's definitely men look for pay. That's the thing that they look for. That's one of the things. They're also into the more riskier jobs, literally putting life and limb at risk.
Freezing cold.
Yeah,
at the top of a building.
The oil patch, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost completely man. That's it. And those are very high.
There's a girl in the patch around here that drives around that says my ovaries are bigger than your balls on her vehicle.
And you got to be tough, and when you're dealing with when it's just a men's club, that can't be easy. What else? So that's the thing. They work more hours. Men work more hours,
and they don't get pregnant.
They don't get pregnant. Now, let's face it. That's a disadvantage for women. That's very difficult to fix.
Yeah, you can't just think you can go work in the patch at 9 months pregnant and then be there the next day after you have your kid either. So you do have to take time off.
Something like working in being a stockbroker. you either maintain those connections and your fuel
Daily.
for the markets. That is something that you have to, the markets don't care if you get pregnant.
Yeah.
They just don't
Nope.
care.
Yeah.
And it's, and women get told to, stay out of those fields for precisely that reason.
Basically, you have to quit your job and do something softer, like go into being an admin.
I'm just getting a message in the chat here from
Yeah, I
Beach.
was just reading that too.
Yeah, that's sad. There was a male nurse at our hospital for years. People told him because he's male, he should become a doctor. Eventually, he left. It's a pity. He was a great nurse. People constantly asking why he wasn't a doctor.
I think that's
stereotypical,
very common.
Yeah.
And men are strong. They're good as nurses because of that strength.
Yeah, especially in something
They're
like
physical,
geriatric nursing and that kind of thing, where you have to be very physical in moving a patient. A lot of women can't do that. That's hard work, and it's very hard on their backs. It's funny.
I know many women who quit nursing because of their back issues.
Yeah. I had this guy that I went to university with. He was in chemistry, but he switched over to nursing. And it's funny. His last name is Doctor, so it's Nurse Doctor.
Wow. That's cute. I like that.
Well, like, which is it?
Very confusing, but
Totally confusing. So
there's an allergy specialist here in Calgary, and his last name is Doctor as well. So he's Doctor.
Oh, cool. Doctor. Yeah. I've got nothing else. What else we want to talk? Anything you want to mention?
No, it's too bad people didn't call in.
Yeah, it might be difficult. I don't know if you can, like because we're on Skype.
Skype now, okay.
And so I'm gonna have to
course.
figure out something for the next one, and people can then call in. If somebody can call just to test the damn thing, see if I can't. Like, the problem is I would have to switch. I think I'd have to switch over to the call and not drop you guys, but put you guys on hold, so you wouldn't be able to hear it. The thing is, I'm wondering if somebody phoned in, I could add them into the conversation. I'm not sure.
Well, we could probably do that on Skype.
Well,
just add people in to join us as opposed to calling.
The problem is when they call, and like, if you try, Chris, why don't you just try it right now? Let's see if this works. Just call the number.
Okay.
And I'll see if I can bring it into this conversation, and then we can sort of have you in stereo.
Okay.
Let's see if this works. Let's try it.
Now.
Okay, let's see. Add group. Yes, I can do that. Well, isn't that cool?
Oh, cool.
Can you hear me now?
Not on my phone. It's still ringing on my end.
Oh, is it? Oh.
Yeah.
What about now? No? But it's
still ringing.
That's weird.
Hang on, let me see if I got the right number. 587-288-1067.
I brought it in. But why is it still ringing on your end? That's kind of weird.
Oh, no.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
Okay, try it one more time, maybe.
Okay.
Sorry, folks. I'm just testing this stuff out, and I'm going to try and make this an actual call-in show, and really, hopefully, it'll be more dynamic and get different points of view. And
Okay, I'm calling now.
Is it doing anything?
It's still ringing?
It's still ringing. Yeah.
Do I have the number right? 587-288-1067, right?
Yeah. Like it's allowing. It says you've been included into the call, but it's not doing it, which is really a shame.
Yeah. Yeah, it just keeps ringing and ringing. So
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah.
What a bust. Huh. How about now? It stopped ringing, did it?
Yeah, I hung up.
Oh, you hung up.
Yeah. Do you want me to try again?
No, we'll figure something else out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Try Google Hangouts or something like that and see how that goes.
Can you add a call to that?
I can't out call. I can only take calls.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So, yeah, well, we'll try it. Google Hangout or something. I don't know. It's
What do you
disappointing.
the atheist experience?
Oh, they'd have
that?
hardware. They would be.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
This is all.
Yeah, they're in a TV studio and all that, aren't they?
Not anymore. They have their own studio or their own building.
Okay.
So I haven't gone there and listened for ages, but of course I don't listen to any.
Added Virtue Phone Networks. Is that?
Yeah, that's it.
Is that the software?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. So I guess that's it for the evening.
Mm-hmm.
Who's
That was
done?
fun,
Who's
as
done?
always.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll think of something.
Sorry for the barking dog.
Oh, that's okay.
That's happened in life, eh?
Yep.
Meow.
My
Woof.
cats aren't bothering me. Don't know
Yeah,
where they are.
sometimes I hear a meow in the background.
Not tonight though.
No, that's true.
No,
Yeah.
they haven't been around. I don't know. Oh well. Well, I'll get ready for the snow tonight. I just
I hear there's supposed to be snow.
yeah.
I'm in denial.
Yeah, I know. It's too early.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put up one of these heated wires along the eaves, so we don't get ice blocks.
Wow, okay.
Because we have
Good
skylights,
idea.
it's a problem. So if ice melts and freezes again, it can form a block, and then it gets underneath. The frost gets underneath the shingles, and well, thanks, you Beej. Thank you very much. I hope next time we can be better. Once we get these wrinkles ironed out, this is a new thing. I mean, it's we really like to get some calls in and ask questions, especially of our guests. Not so much of us.
Absolutely. Yeah, because we we tend to agree a fair bit mostly. So
Sure.
a little argumentation would be fun, or some interesting questions, or yeah.
Yeah, I'm always interested in a different point of view, as long as it's like
Absolutely.
it's been thought out. Of course, I mean, it's like, oh, you're wrong, you dumbass. No.
Yeah.
I
No.
know. I'm like
Islamophobe, racist.
Islamophobe.
bitch,
I've been called an Islamophobe. It's hilarious.
misogynist,
It's so ridiculous.
Blah blah blah.
Oh yeah.
Nazi, white supremacist.
I haven't been called a Nazi yet. I should go for Nazi. I'd love to get add that to my
rich.
bucket list. I want to be called a Nazi. God damn it.
But what could you be called a Nazi for?
Because people just throw
Because
the term out randomly, like it
yeah.
means nothing.
It's a syntactic meaning of Nazi means everything and including I don't agree with you. It's crazy.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
sorry.
These
There was
words
There was a time when you called somebody a Nazi and it actually meant something.
exactly.
And
now
I'm really
that means
disgusted
nothing.
by the hijacking of language and the dishonor it brings upon the people who were actually victims of the Holocaust.
Triggered.
I think that's pretty fucking shameful, to be honest.
Triggered.
Well, I just get called racist if I point out racism, which confuses the hell out of me. But I think what it actually means is that they're saying I'm being a race traitor.
Oh, what?
If I pointed out Paul Newman's racism, I got called a racist. I pointed out, when I point out racism in white people, I get called a racist by white people. So I think they actually mean a race traitor.
Oh my.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah, it's so confusing because I'm like, wait, you're a Nazi. That's when it matters because actually, or KKK. I don't differentiate a lot against the two because they're both racist, the KKK and Nazis. So, but it means white racist. So,
Yeah, I hate this whole thing. Like, you know, like saying somebody's misogynistic when they're really just might be sexist. Might not even that. You know, might not even be sexist. They just disagree. So they,
Yeah.
you disagree with a woman, it's misogynistic.
Oh dear. Yeah.
When
No.
a woman disagrees with a man, well, that's completely different. It's you know, this social justice advocates. Screw it. Social justice warriors. They're some of the most racist and sexist people around. I mean, it's funny. You'll love this. I was looking through my Twitter feed and I was looking at Everyday Feminism, which I love to go to because it's so freaking funny. You might not be aware.
Oh, and I hate it so much when you post that shit and torture me. Oh.
This one was great.
Randy posted, just for our audience to know, Randy posts this shit in our, like Facebook chat, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah, I sent it specifically to Chris because I know she loves it so much. This one article was it said you might not realize it, but you might have suffered gaslighting, and I'm like, is EF actually admitting that gaslighting is not a thing?
It's not a thing?
Yeah, it's not a thing. Because, he said...
Oh, I don't think it's a thing.
I don't... give me a break.
Oh, I think so.
Cultural appropriation.
Huh?
It's right up there with cultural appropriation.
No, I think if you're in a relationship and your, partner's, psychologically abusive, they can distort your reality and make you believe they're bullshit.
Only if you
Do you
allow
think that can happen?
Yeah.
But
anything... We're talking about EF,
that's
though,
why
right?
the expression comes out, right?
We're talking about EF, though. What they call gaslighting is probably nothing compared to what real gaslighting is. You know, they complain about the most amazing... You know, they complain about yoga, white people doing yoga as cultural appropriation. And I just saw on the Twitter feed how yoga can help you with your feminism. And I'm like, well, which is it? Is it okay or is it cultural appropriation?
It's interesting because years ago I made the argument that it was cultural appropriation.
Of course it is.
No, not yoga, but but meditating, because my daughter went to school and they were like, oh, let's bring in meditation. I'm like, that's a yogi practice. Why would you want to do that? And they're like, okay, mindful, blah blah blah. And I'm just like, okay, I'm okay with that, but I'm not okay with.
Wait a minute. So the label changed and you were okay with it?
Kinda. Yeah. If you want to, first of all, I thought it was entirely inappropriate to be bringing in what boils down to a religious practice into a public school, right? That was certainly my issue, right?
Okay, I see where. Yeah. Okay, I see where you're going.
Yeah. And but if it's okay, this is a secular practice, just to, and some people did make that case, like it's a secular thing. We just want to calm the kids down and give them a moment of reflection. I'm okay with that.
Time out.
Right? Yeah. Well, I mean, this is a long, long time ago now. This is over 15 years ago, right? So, I think, obviously my opinion is kind of changed, but I do object to, because I think meditation has become more of a secular practice.
Yeah, I think it's totally.
Things, right?
Nobody
which
thinks
means that we've appropriated them. Pardon me?
I suppose, we have probably culturally appropriated it in that sense, but who cares?
Yeah. Well, I think it's if you
don't give a shit.
There's a way to. I get where they're coming from when if you just dress up for Halloween like a, I don't know, whatever kind of thing, and that's kind of a little disrespectful or whatever. But if you're sincerely,
that I am so gonna be totally offensive this Halloween.
I'm not saying I necessarily agree, but I understand where they're coming from.
It's right up there with blasphemy. I am so going to be offensive.
Look, it wouldn't be funny to see somebody prancing around in blackface. It's totally inappropriate.
Don't go there. You have no idea to the depths that I can sing.
Uh-oh.
Yes, I could do the whole Al Jolson thing with the white around the mouth and Yeah, I don't know. Even I
no,
might
but
not.
there are certain things that are obviously, you don't do that, and then there's things that become part of our culture, and not in the way that they export from other cultures. And I think, as long as you're not being an asshole, it's fine.
Or you're being an asshole on purpose. There's method to my madness. You know what I mean?
Most cultures want to share their recipes for food. They want to, like, food is such a basic human way of bonding that, if you travel, people want to share their food and their recipes and stuff with you. Like, and, you go there and you appreciate it. Well, I shouldn't say you go there necessarily, because you don't necessarily have to go there. You can go right here in Calgary, anywhere. And there's tons of amazing restaurants from all over, from cultural, whatever, ethnic, whatever the hell you want to call it, all over Calgary. And it's wonderful. We don't want to just have fucking McDonald's here, do we?
Okay. I was in France. What the hell is that city that I was in? Bordeaux. And I should remember that because, of course, that's a very famous wine region. Anyway, these two cyclists came by and asked me where the local McDonald's was. They were Americans. And then I said, are you kidding me? You guys want to come here to France and you want McDonald's? And they said, well, actually, we just want the free Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay.
Did I ever feel like a moron?
Well, they do serve wine there at McDonald's.
I felt like an idiot. I just chastised these guys. Oh yeah, it's a wonderful, wonderful city. I love Bordeaux. That whole region is just fantastic. Beautiful countryside. Oh. Nice. And that TRV train, like 300 kilometers an hour plus, just poof.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, I think we should call it a night. And it was like I did 20 minutes ago, something like that.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm falling asleep.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. So
it's not even that late, and I'm so tired.
Okay. Say goodnight, everybody.
Good night. Have good sleeps.
Bye bye.
Couple weeks. Bye bye.
The Regressive Left
that's
Files.
Not right. Wrong one. Closing. There it is.
You've been listening to the Legion of Reason, coming to you from Calgary, Canada. If you enjoyed listening to this podcast, please consider reviewing us on iTunes. Music was provided by Dean Morrison and Graham Hill and used with permission.
Culture appropriation, right?
No.
Yeah, they're just trying to honor the culture.